It's 7:05, March 6th, 2024. First order of business is a pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next order of business has been customarily to have an invocation. I see Ruth, if you would care to give the invocation. Hey, Kim, would you call the roll? Here.
Here.
Here, Johnson.
Here. Here.
And Whitman.
Here.
Consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Got a motion to approve by Justin, second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next order of business is going to be, it's not on the agenda, but we have a couple city clerks that is going to present our city clerk, Kim, with an award. It's, actually, it's the highest award a city clerk can get.
Certification.
Bill Hanks. Megan. Come forward and you're going to present the award to Kim. Yeah, thank you.
Megan, and I the public relations for the Missouri City Clerks and Training Officers Association. And also here with me tonight is Bill Hanks, City Clerk for the City of Wilmington. And as you mentioned, we are here to recognize your City Clerk, Kim Park, for achieving the designation of Master Municipal Clerk. Milestone is of great benefit to other staff and your staff. On behalf of the Missouri of
Somebody get a picture. Do we have to call you master now?
Hang on, you didn't already. Kim.
Bill and Megan.
Thank you, Kim, for all you do for us.
Yeah, thank you, Kim. Good job, great work.
What are we gonna talk about until she gets back?
You had- Hi, public comments, Kim?
Okay.
Joel King, 2 Toussaint Drive. Let's You must be taken into account. All traffic exiting the Encore is commercial traffic. It will be entering a street intended primarily for residential traffic. At the end of this, when they staff communications, I would appreciate if the city attorney would explain how that is being allowed for Mia Rose to dump traffic onto Cora Marie. Next, the board, about a month ago, spent almost an entire work session on possible danger of speeding traffic on Stump Road once it's expanded. Let's be proactive instead of reactive. If you drive down there right now, you'll see a bump, temporary bump there for the gas line that's going to go underneath. That bump slows the traffic unbelievably. It's beautiful and it's not that big. Let's add a bump or two to that street to make sure it doesn't become the speedway people think it may become. Let's then before the accident. And it's kind of a waste of money, whatever, you didn't like it, you didn't, I don't know the exact words you did, but I don't think you were fond of the money that they spent for the ball fields. However, when they took as an alderman, you voted yay. So if you vote for it, it's tough to complain about it now when you voted for it. Bueller. What are they now? Being torn down. In the 90s and 2000s, it was strip malls. How many of them sit vacant? We're going with let's build apartments, build apartments, build apartments. And I just want your vision, once again, not ours. Apparently you got that vision when you visited down Atlanta. Atlanta has 6.3 million people. St. Louis has about 2. Little bit of difference there. Even say we're taking this stuff out of context because we all listened to the interview. So, I mean, yeah, you can shake your head as much as you want. We listened to it, Mayor. Thing I'd like to add, if any of the residents in Darden Prairie would like to Geico, I'm sure the mayor understands that.
My name is Dave Miller. My family and I live on Cruden Bay Court, and I thank you all for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to start with a vocabulary lesson. Definition of censorship happens when an official who examines material that is about to be released, such as books, news, movies, tries to suppress any parts of that considered obscene or politically unacceptable. Examples of this would be an attempt to vet or edit a reporter's article on our fair city, or to not provide video audio of the public forum speakers last week that had thoughts to share on the article about the mayor. Since folks tuning in to the YouTube link on the last board meeting weren't able to hear it, I'll give a brief rundown of a few points I made at that meeting. My family moved here 18 years ago looking for a city that represented a small town feel that we had in Wisconsin. Made the choice of Darden Prairie over many other options. But the way things are going, I don't like what I see. I did admit my error in voting for Mr. Gotway as the mayor, but admit I also won't make that same mistake again. Mr. Mayor, those that you see and hear speak are concerned citizens partaking in the First Amendment rights, not special interests, NIMBYs, or cave dwellers. Next vocabulary term, censure. Express severe disapproval of someone or something, especially in a formal. This is something the board has at its right to use as it sees fit. The mayor attacked the integrity of Ms. Baumgartner at our last meeting is a travesty and you should be ashamed. Many of us here have heard the tapes, that interview, and we know what was said. Mr. Mayor, it's time for you to man up and admit your mistakes. Once again, thanks again for the years of sales tax, tax abatements, and total disregard for what the people want. If you want to be mayor, move to Maryland Heights where they love apartment buildings. Read our lips. We don't want any more apartments. We don't want you around to make any more of a mess of our city. It's currently a laughingstock. Just go away, Gotway. Thank you.
Anyway, last week, residents received a public notice about the property near Stump Road and Feisy Road. I'd like to follow up on something that Alderman Coslow was talking about. Why can't notices like this be posted on the city's news and updates page of the website or the city Facebook page? Most people don't dig through the website to read through agendas. Often agendas are not posted until 48 hours before a meeting. That does not give residents much time to reach out to their alderman with concerns or questions. Just because someone doesn't live within the required amount of feet from a development does not mean they are not affected or concerned. Transparency is something residents have repeatedly stood up here and requested. Just going the extra mile with the small things would be a start for the city to meet the requests of the residents for transparency. This could easily be posted on the city's website instead of buried in the agenda where most residents aren't even going to look for it. Thank you.
Before I begin, I would like to request the people at the podium give us the honor of your paying attention to us when we speak. My name is Cheryl Bratton. My husband Larry and I live on Croon Bay Court in Myrna subdivision. You can claim to be mystified, pretend it was an oversight, or blame it on some technological glitch. But before posting the February 21st Darden Prairie Alderman meeting on YouTube, a person within Darden Prairie's government deemed it necessary to interfere with the rights guaranteed to citizens by the U.S. Constitution. You might be familiar with amendments number 1, number 14, those little passages in the Constitution that state, including the internet and social media platforms and extending to state municipal governments, thou government shall not interfere with thy citizens' right to free speech or engage in censorship of thy citizens. In the minutes of the February 21st meeting, 6 speakers were listed under public comments. However, while Carla Detweiler, Joel King, Dave Miller, and I are listed in correct speaking order in the printed minutes, none of us are seen or heard speaking on the YouTube video. Since the video starts with Carl Moss and doesn't include the call to order, the pledge, and the approval of the consent agenda, a logical assumption could be the record mode wasn't engaged at the top of the meeting. However, Carla, Joel, and I were the first 3 speakers. The 4th speaker was Carl Moss, followed by Arnie Dienoff. Both men are seen and heard in the video. The same cannot be said of Dave Miller, who was speaker number 6 behind Arnie. Carla spoke about fireworks, and just as Joel and I were, Dave was critical of remarks Mr. Gotway made in the February Mid-Rivers News magazine. Since Dave Miller followed Arnie as a speaker, it doesn't stand to reason that Mr. Miller was accidentally cut out of the meeting video. Apparently, it was hoped the city's 23 YouTube subscribers would notice. Out of fairness, I contacted YouTube to explore the possibility that the editing was done on their end. 3 separate tech support employees actually laughed at me. This isn't a pathetic cry for our 3 minutes of YouTube fame. There's no denying it. The 4 of us were deleted from the city's February 21st YouTube video because we criticized the mayor. The question is, who's the fall guy? The person who ordered the editing so they can conveniently blame someone else, or the person who actually did it? In any case, city officials and employees need to reevaluate their relationship with the First and 14th Amendments and understand what can happen if Garden Prairie's leadership denies those rights to its citizens. In the meantime, I suggest you heed a piece of advice made famous by Judge Judy Scheinlin of all people. Don't pee on our legs and tell us it's raining. City Ordinance 210.380 says public urination is unlawful in Garden Prairie.
Very much, thank you very much, members of the Board of Aldermen. My name is Arnie C. At the workshop, you talked about communication. You know, you pay the city administrator a handsome salary, medical benefits, regular benefits, logger's pension, and other perks. A weekly update should be written with all supporting documents attached and sent to all elected officials, with also posting of the information and documents on the city's website. 101 of being a city administrator is communication, accountability, responsibility, transparency, and no secrets, hiding of any information. This information and reports are fiduciary responsibilities of the Board of Aldermen, checks and balances within city government. I, for one, do not trust the mayor, his motives, or his childish antics. These are basic fundamentals of municipal government and ensures good leadership. Proposed Bill 2413, no more favors for Gotways, politics. The letter of credit or deposit guaranteeing improvements from Calico LLC of completion to accomplish to acceptable methods and compliance with the International Building Codes in Prairie Encore is $215,800 plus $21,580 for land disturbance engineering inspections. Enough assurity that taxpayers will not be on the hook if Jim Cook walks away from the project as he is. No more free passes to the property. It's time enough that the community demand more of Mr. Cook and his other partners. Filing for county, township, state house districts, and statewide office is open on February 27th and runs through Tuesday, I believe it's March 23rd. Of grave concern is House District 108, which takes in 90% of Garden Prairie, St. Louis, and O'Fallon. But 98% is the Garden Prairie confines. The incumbent has not filed for that office. So I am out looking for a suitable person who cares about our our municipality, the county, and the state. And I'd like to see somebody file for that office. The confines of the district are east of Longview Estates Drive, along Feisey Road, west of Bryan Road, I-70 to the north, Prospect Road, Duello Road to the west, Missouri Highway Double D to the south. So I would ask somebody to really consider doing this. You have to make certain steps and file certain documents.
Hey, new business.
Move to read Bill 2413 for the first time.
Got a motion to read Bill 2413 for the first time.
Second.
Got a second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none. James, James, will you read Bill 2413 for the first time?
Sure. Bill 2413, an ordinance of the city of Garden Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to negotiate and execute a deposit agreement guaranteeing improvements with letter of credit by and between the city and Calico LLC, guaranteeing the site construction, installation, and completion of certain off-site improvements at the Prairie Encore.
Any discussion or debate?
Only question always is with this one, everything in order.
I'm sorry?
Everything in order. Every once in a while back then, we used to get to one of these, go to read it a second time, someone say, oh, we haven't gotten everything yet.
Kim, did Todd give you an updated, signed, agreement? I mean, ultimately, I mean, everything's in order. We don't sign it until we have, and we sign it, they sign it, it goes back and forth, so. But yeah, as far as the site, you know, the engineer's estimate, the site plan review, all that stuff's in order, so.
So you're just waiting. to
Yeah.
Execute.
So at this point, it's just execution either way, but oftentimes we'll tell them to sign it and then we'll sign it once you give me approval, but.
Which this is authorizing you to negotiate next.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whenever it's appropriate, I will sign it, but it does not require me to sign it unless it is appropriate.
Thank you. Move for a second reading.
Second.
Got a motion for a second reading and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Here none. James, you read Bill 2413 by title only for the second time.
For Bill 2413, an ordinance of the city of Dayton, Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to negotiate and execute a deposit agreement guaranteeing improvements with the letter of credit by and between the city and Coleco LLC, guaranteeing the construction, installation, and completion of certain off-site improvements at the Prairie Encore.
Move for roll call vote.
Got a motion for a roll call vote. Justin,
Second.
a second. Mark, Kim, would you call the roll?
Aye.
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 Johnson.
Aye.
Ordinance 294.
Thank you. I declare Bill 2413 is ordinance 2294.
Move to read Bill 2414 for the first time.
Got a motion to read Bill 2414 for the first time.
Second.
Got a second by Keith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Here none. James, will you read Bill 2414 by title only?
An ordinance of the city of Dayton, Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to negotiate and execute a transportation enhancements funds program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission.
Any discussion or debate?
Move for a second reading.
Got a motion for a second reading by Justin.
Second.
Got a second by Mark. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Here none. James, will you read Bill 2414 by title only?
For Bill 2414, an ordinance of the city of Dayton, Prairie, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to negotiate and execute a transportation enhancements funds program agreement with Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission.
Any discussion or debate?
For roll call vote.
Got a motion for a roll call vote. Justin, got a second by Mark. Kim, would you call the roll?
Aye.
Alderman.
Aye.
Alderman Kittlemeier.
Aye.
Alderman Weidling.
Aye.
Alderman Cosmo.
Aye.
Alderman Hunterbaugh.
Aye.
Ordinance 2295.
Declare Bill 2414 is ordinance 2295. Old business,
Move to postpone Bill 2411 to next meeting.
Second.
a motion to postpone Bill 2411 to the next meeting. Got a second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Bill 2411 will be postponed to the next meeting.
That is on March 20.
Okay, staff communications, city attorney,
I have nothing.
city engineer.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I want to apologize to the board and to the public. I was to blame for the recording error. I hit what I thought was the start recording button. And I realized partially through the meeting that it was not recording. I immediately clicked start recording again. So I apologize. It was my fault that occurred.
Thank you. City administrator.
The only thing that I would add that has not been addressed yet would be since, and we did know that I think it should be recorded in the last meeting that I inquired of the city engineer if he had turned on the recording, and he said yes, but I was a little late. I'm sorry. That should be in the recording. I believe, I know that conversation was had. That being said, as far as any editing goes, I would invite either members of the board to go straight to the source document, which is, or the source video, which is on Teams and is not editable on Teams, to view what was recorded. Admittedly late, we do apologize, unfortunately. Instead of me running back and forth over there, that was why I tried to have Tom start the recording to make sure we are recording on time. As far as any further editing of that, I'm not aware of any. If the board is so desires, I'm happy to ask for an authorization to have someone forensically examine the video at the expense of the city. I think it is terrible if that happened, and I'm more than happy to have a professional look at it. And if the board so wishes to do so, I'm more than happy to engage a professional to examine the integrity of the recording. Curious that I'm willing to be held accountable. So, but that's up to the board.
I'll take a look at the video personally.
Alderman,
There was a comment made about reporting by one of the speakers, and I do want to show appreciation for the board, the mayor, city administrator, and all involved during the workshop today. An update for those in the crowd. We did discuss reporting as listed on the workshop agenda. I think it was a really productive conversation, and the city administrator is going to be producing a framework by the first week in April. Yes, first week in April, for a cadence that will work for the city staff and consolidating reporting, bringing information. So I really appreciate that commitment and the conversation and goodwill. Just
anybody else?
Yeah, so kind of a little bit for awareness, but also I wanted to, kind of, we had some crime over in Ward 3 about 2 weeks ago. We had some criminal activity, some larceny, some stuff was stolen, out of folks' cars that were unlocked, and somebody had their home entered unlawfully while they were home and asleep. So this is not the first time it's happened. And so just more of a public service announcement to folks, who are out here that, continue to be vigilant. We're not immune to crime and criminal activity. But that being said, I want to take an opportunity to, commend the police department. St. Charles County Police responded, and I actually noted that there was somebody in my driveway at 4 a.m. That had been there 30 minutes before. I got to go to the bathroom, and to my surprise, there was a person, notified me in my phone. So I called within, by the time I could get my pants on, they were at the front door from that time. So it's like a 2-minute response time. So awesome, a great experience working with everybody on that. And just a very, I've had stuff stolen from my truck, unfortunately. Again, I'm not immune to mistakes either, and it was unlocked. Some things got stolen. But trying to get all that back was a good experience working with the police department. So I just want to kind of give a big, kudos to everybody that was involved with that. They ended up catching the folks that night, thankfully, in cooperation with the O'Fallon Police Department. And those guys are, being handled accordingly. So, but so just thanks to everybody else for coming out here tonight. We've got an election coming up. It's the democratic process is something that I hold near and dear to my heart. And I want to just make sure that everybody here is probably engaged, but remind everybody on April 2nd to get out and vote. Since this is how we make our community better through our vote. So, and thanks to the St. Charles County Police Department for coming out as well for tonight, providing security and safety for us tonight. So that's all I got.
All right. I don't have anything. It's all covered in the work.
Move your adjourn.
So, got a motion to adjourn? Got a second by Mike? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hear none? It's my girlfriend. I'm stuck on there. Scam.
I apologize.
Okay.
Workshop.
The work session last meeting, that was the one of the.
Well, I honestly clicked it and it didn't.
Well, the. Well, that's the issues down those days. Well. You might have got the test. I'm gonna start the regular meeting on time, you might not have to check.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can assure you. After that, I think you know.
God, this is the big.
I'll be honest, I told Sean.
I hit the button and I must not have clicked the other way. They did it hard enough, I guess, and then well said.
They got.
So tonight I made sure I did it.
No, Bill.